Welcome to A Life Designed. My name is Tina Heisman. I help women who are struggling with the overwhelm of trying to balance being a wife, mother, and career woman. When they work with me, they discover how to design their life so they can live in alignment with their priorities and create more happiness. The topic of today's podcast is Your Husband Really Wants You to Practice Self-Care. But before we get started, I have something for you that is marriage related. It's a free guide called 3 Simple Things You Can Do to Speak to Your Man's Heart Today. I will put the link in the episode description. I would also like to invite you to my private group on Facebook where you can come to get positive inspiration for your life. Search A Life Designed in the Facebook search bar. Now let's dive in and talk about how your husband really wants you to practice self-care. Okay, so where is this coming from? This is from Christian author Shaunti Feldhahn. She conducted a study of men and published the results in her book For Women Only. And one of the compelling pieces of information that she shares in the book is that it is really important to our husbands that we take care of ourselves. And by this, they mean that we look good on the outside and we feel good on the inside. And so that we're energetic enough to spend fun time with them, right? They want us to be at our best. They really do. So 47% of men said they want their wives to make an effort to take care of herself. And then 70% of men said that it emotionally bothers them if their wife doesn't take care of herself. So I think that's some pretty strong evidence there that men want us to feel and look our best. I think this is the best news ever. This means that our husbands are okay with us spending time and resources on self-care. It's true story. So the information that I'm sharing with you today is backed by research. It's not just made up. And I just want you to know that. It's a great, you guys know how I am. I love when things are backed up by research. I always share with you not just, textbook theory things. Like I really want to share things that can really work for you. And so you can always bring this topic to your husband and ask him if he falls in line with the men who were in this survey, right? And then you can get your answer there. But so let's continue on. I want to really inspire you today. The reason the men in this study said they want us to take care of ourselves is because it makes them feel loved. And yes, you heard me right. You taking care of you makes your husband feel loved. Why? Because it shows him that you care enough about him to look and feel your best. Now, if you ask me, this is a win-win because I also like to look and feel good, and I bet you do too. And think about it. When we look good and we feel good, like we're happier, and then that just positively impacts everyone around us because we're more of a joy to be around and we're just spreading that joy and it's going out like a domino effect, right? And so I want you to let this information today free you from the guilt of spending time or resources to take care of yourself. And so the question to ask yourself is, what do I need to do to look and feel my best? And the answers will be different for all of us. So today I want to start by talking about how we can feel good on the inside first, because I really think all beauty comes from the inside out. But then we will talk about looking good on the outside after that. So for our internal self-care, I want to start with talking about our mind. Our mind. Some ideas for how we take care of our mind are nurturing it with things that we're interested in, like by reading books or taking classes or maybe even working if that suits you. Definitely consider meditation to calm your mind. And I would be remiss, because I'm a life coach, if I didn't say to spend time journaling about all of the thoughts in your mind. The power is immense. So I want to share a recent experience that I had regarding doing something to nurture my mind. So I wanted to invest in this full-day women's event, and it was more than I would normally spend. Like the price was definitely something to consider. but I thought it would really be worth it for the personal growth that I would experience that day. And so when I brought it to my husband, I was feeling a little timid about the price, but he encouraged me and he rearranged his calendar to take care of the kids so that I could go. He was happy to help me find the time to do something meaningful for myself. And I bet your guy would do the same. So are there things that you would like to do for yourself? And have you asked your husband if he could help you arrange it? It might be something to think about. And so another aspect of taking care of you from the inside out is taking care of your spirit. And I like to think about this as nurturing your heart. You can do this in so many ways. I definitely invite you to think about what that looks like for you. But it could be spending time with God. That can be in prayer, in your home, or out in nature, or in church. By reading books or listening to things that inspire you. It doesn't have to be faith-based. That could be anything that inspires you. Also, spending time with people that you love and that inspire you. That really helps, right? And I also thought about doing random acts of kindness for others. That's a great way to work on your spirit. And really just overall being a loving and compassionate person, like putting effort into showing up in the world as a loving and compassionate person really helps nurture your spirit because love flows from love, right? Love is always the answer. Love flows from love. And so just being that love and connecting with that love for yourself, spending that time to do that. And it does take time. And wouldn't you agree that a woman who works on putting time and energy toward her spirit just kind of glows? Like, have you ever seen these people? Like, there's just something about them that other people want to have, right? And guess what? Her husband sees it too. And I happen to know that he loves that about her. That men, they secretly draw strength from watching their wives be strong in mind and spirit and body. And so please, I want you to know that you can do so much good in this world by taking care of your heart and your soul, girls. So definitely, I hope you're inspired by that to think about what that looks like for you. All right, so next up, let's talk about taking care of our physical body. Now, of course, we all know that we could eat a little healthier, make a little time for exercise, and get a little more sleep. I'd also like to encourage you to get yourself to the doctor for your regular doctor appointments, make those a priority, and not let pains linger too long before attending to them. Like if your back is hurting and you need to go to the chiropractor or something, like please go take care of yourself. You get the idea because you will feel your best, right? And so what I want you to remember most from this section on taking care of your body is that it's really important to focus on progress and not perfection. Just focus on making small changes in your life because there is no rush. I know we feel like there is, but there really isn't. There is no finish line. You will feel better by successfully making small changes than by making one big, huge change that's too big to sustain, right? That's where failure comes and we give up. Pick something small. Just work on that, okay? And now I want to move on to another aspect of taking care of ourselves, and that's our outer beauty. So our husbands love it when we look our best on the outside. It's like a gift to them. And we all know that men are very visual, right? They like beauty. But sometimes, once we've been married for a while and become moms, and we're overloaded with everything that we have to do, I mean everything, it does feel difficult to take care of ourselves, right? It does feel difficult to put the effort into, getting up and showered and getting dressed and everything else, right? And so we put that on the back burner. And sometimes this is definitely more important than others. Like if you're sick or when we have little babies, like when they're little and they're not sleeping through the night, like obviously when things are really tough that we go through these periods. But really for the most part, I think that most of us could really benefit from having a shower and doing our hair and makeup, if you do makeup and hair, and getting dressed. That is good for us. It helps us feel good and put together. And our husbands love seeing us more put together. So here's how I've worked on this in my life. And many of you already know this about me, but I get up at 5 a.m. to pray and work out and shower so that I can be present with my children before they go to school in the morning. And I do this so that, of course, in addition to being present with them before school, making the most of that time, but then when everyone else leaves for the day, I am ready for whatever might come my way. Any change in schedule or anything, I'm dressed, I'm ready to go, no problem, right? And it also allows my husband to see me freshly showered and dressed for my day. And so on the flip side of that, at the end of the day, I also try to make an effort to stay dressed in my clothes for the day until after my husband comes home from work. So in the summer, this is easier than in the winter here in Chicago, because like in the winter in Chicago, I just want to put on yoga pants and a sweatshirt and just be totally comfy in like clothes that we normally wear at home. And sometimes I totally do that. But I do consider that I want my husband to see me put together, dressed up and looking nice. And when I say dressed up, I just mean street clothes. Like for me in the winter, it's just like nice jeans and a sweater. I don't work in an office, so I don't have to dress up fancy or anything, but just, looking put together. And so I want to share this with you in the hopes that it can encourage you to spend a few minutes on your outer appearance. It is for you and your guy. You'll both really benefit from it. So for you, as you know, it makes you feel more put together. And I think it gives me energy and it helps me feel like I'm more alert and alive and productive. And then for your husband, it shows him that you care about him and it makes him feel happy and connected to you. And that's a beautiful thing. And here's a kind of a fun part. For men, like it makes them feel proud of you. Like, did you guys know that? Like, he loves that. And you guys, you know how guys are, like they're so competitive with other men. And so when your husband has a wife that looks awesome, that makes him look awesome too, right? And he wins. So that's kind of a fun little side note there. And I did want to share with you that I know of a life coach who has publicly shared that her husband actually told her that he loves it when she wears professional clothes. And so even though she works from home, like all of her clients are over the phone, she works from home, she makes an effort to dress professionally for him because he works from home too. And so it's just like this is just this professional environment that they have in their home. And she said that she loves it. Like this is what works for them. And I think that is a beautiful thing. And it's an act of love. And how great that they could communicate about that and have that bonding in their relationship. So I just wanted to share that as another example of someone else outside of me. And I do want to say something as we're getting close to wrapping this up. And that is that our husbands are not wishing that we become someone we are not by this. They're not secretly wishing they married a supermodel. They just want us to be the best version of us, the woman they fell in love with. So thinking back to, long ago when you met your husband, and remember when we would make an effort every time we saw them that we looked put together. And obviously that's impossible to do when you live with someone, but making some effort definitely will go such a long way. It's going to help you feel good from the inside out, and it's going to help your husband be just like so happy, feel loved, right? And so if you don't feel like you're in the best place right now in your mind, body, and spirit, I hope that this episode helps you feel empowered to do what you need to do to improve that situation for yourself. And don't feel guilty for it. Know that your husband is totally okay with you taking time and resources to take care of yourself. You have permission. And so definitely check in with your husband and see, is this something that's important to him? Or you could just experiment with it. If it's something you think you need to work on, you can experiment with it and see what happens. It could be really fun. But I know this is easier said than done. So if you would like to work on this with a coach, reach out to me, because working with a life coach helps you reach your goals faster and with more confidence and less things getting in your way. And so I am here for you if that is the type of assistance that you need. All right. Thank you so much for listening in, and I hope you'll let me know if you have any specific questions. And don't forget to download your free guide about the 3 simple steps to speak to your man's heart today. That link is in the episode description. All right. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.